Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Exo the podcast. It's King Exu here, and I want to be talking about something I call finding the apple theory. I came up with it because I'm very smart, but yeah, so there's this theory I like to call finding your apple theory, and I think I like it because it's something I came up with through observation and studying. Well, mainly my Bible, but it actually stems from two stories: the one with Eve, the serpent, and the fruits, and the other one about Jesus and the wealthy man who wanted to be a disciple, but then Jesus asked him to sell all his properties and come follow him. And in the Bible said the man left heartbroken because he had so many great riches that he loved. Now, actually, I call it finding the apple theory because most of that popular idea that the fruit Eve ate was an apple, nobody really knows, but I think it just works. So let's move on. As humans, I think we all have an apple, every single one of us. And most times the apple is that one thing we crave, the thing that sits somewhere deep in us. We might love it, we might hate it, but it exists. And the thing is, lots of us might not really be conscious of that particular thing. And the apple might be an idol. It might be something born out of desire or born out of fear. I think most times they come from these two reasons. And one crazy thing is, you don't have to love an idol to worship it. You can hate it, you can talk down on it and still serve it because deep down, I think it's something you want above everything else. You tell yourself that you need it, and it might be disguised as something that you feel is justifiable, but if you look at the root cause deep down, it's mostly an idol. And I know some of you listening might have already broken free. You've gained a certain awareness and you're working in that freedom, but that's great. But I think this episode is for those who haven't. I am doing this for awareness and to pray that they actually do break through. So the story about Eve, the serpent, and the fruit always gets me because I think about it, and if the devil had tempted her with any other fruit in Eden, would probably still be here but naked. I mean, we'll be at peace, living soft life. I won't have to be buying clothes, spending my hard-earned money to buy clothes, but I have to buy clothes now and look nice. But that's cool, sure. Fashion makes sense. And then we have the story about the wealthy man. Because I genuinely think if God had asked him for any other thing aside from his wealth, probably even abandoning his own family, he would have given it. But then Christ looked at his heart and saw the idol that was there, saw an apple, and he decided to ask him for that one thing, because if he had followed Christ and still loved his riches, there would have been conflicting later on, because you can't serve God and serve Mammon. You can't serve God and serve your apple at the same time. And that's the point. I think we all have that one thing we can't imagine letting go of, even for something greater. Now, you guys should stick with me. I'm going somewhere. A few weeks ago, I was talking to a very, very close friend of mine, and she was talking to me about a friend of hers who is in a very abusive relationship. And it's baffling because the girl in question here, who is in an abusive relationship, there is nothing common we can see that would be the reason why she would submit herself to this level of tyranny. And I'm talking abuse in like all aspects. I'm talking physical abuse, I'm talking sexual abuse, I'm talking emotional abuse. And it's one thing like my friend was trying to help her out of, but we couldn't like seem to figure out what exactly was making her submit herself to this. Because she grew up with love, she had everything, she's been provided for, and we can't actually point it out. So I implemented this whole finding apple theory, and like I shifted my friend's focus towards trying to find what her apple is. Now, the thing about, I'm just going to give like a very brief scenario rather. Let's say, for example, a young lady who grew up never really being listened to, Yeah, whenever she like tries to air her opinion or express her feelings, she's usually shut down. Now, it might be that this lady in question has been given everything else. She has been raised in total and complete love, and she had parents who loved her, who cared for her, who provided her. She had siblings who were really close to her. They had like a special bond and everything. But then the real one thing that she lacked was the ability to, or the privilege of being listened to. Everything else is in check, and I mean every single thing is in check. But then she feels like when she expresses how she really feels, nobody listens. And now fast forward to she's probably now a teenager or an adult. She gets into a relationship and she ends up with someone who is not ideal for her, not healthy for her. But he has one good quality, and that is he listens to her. When she's expressing how she feels, he actually listens and pays attention. But now the thing is, this guy in mind might be abusive. This guy might be cheating, he might be violent, he might be manipulative, he might be toxic. But then his one good quality is that he listens. And it's crazy because it's just like having a remote. You can press almost every single button, but unless you press the power button, the TV would not come on. And that's her power button, that's her apple. The desire to want to be listened, or the fear of not being paid attention to. And in the sense where she might not need his money, she might not need his time, she might not need anything else, she might not need him to be a kind person towards her, because I think she's not starved of kindness, she's not starved of attention, she's not starved of provision. But the one thing that she's like really starved of, and it's the thing I mentioned where I said she might have not really been listened to growing up. No one might have like made her feel really truly seen and listened to. And it's dangerous because it's subtle. She might not know that this is what her apple is, but that might be the reason why she's embracing Stockholm syndrome and subjecting herself to whatever it is she's subjecting herself through. Now here's the thing, I think it's not her being foolish, it's just her chasing her apple. And after hearing the story, I noticed something. None of the usual reasons for manipulation were there. It wasn't greed, it wasn't loneliness, it wasn't naivety, it's deeper. She was chasing an apple, and I think that's something she thinks she needs to feel whole. I don't know if that made sense, the analogy I used, but let's go on. And trauma runs deep. I think the dangerous type is not the loud one, it's the quiet one, the subtle kind that hides behind the smiles. The kind where you've been loved, provided, cared for, but you're missing out on the one thing you truly craved. It might not be a lady who didn't grow up having the chance to express how she feels. It might be a guy who is actually seeking his father's approval. And that might be the one thing that pushes him to do every single thing he does. It allows him to tolerate some things he will usually not tolerate, all because he needs the approval of one person. Maybe it's feeling safe. Maybe it's the fear of being seen. Or rather, maybe it's being seen without the fear of the knives that might come the moment you relax. You don't want to get too vulnerable or too comfortable because you've been there before and you got stabbed in the back. You're waiting to see when the knives are going to come swinging. You start to chase that feeling in different ways with different people. And that's how we end up picking apples. Things that promise to fill a void they can't actually reach. Genuinely, I don't think they can. Again, the story of the wealthy man is sad because when you think about it, he could have actually become something greater, something way beyond what he already has, but he couldn't let go of the one thing that was requested of him. Another story is Abraham. God pinpointed what his apple was, what he had desired most throughout his life, which is an heir, a son. And Abraham actually gave it. He gave it because he loved something greater than he loved Isaac, his son. which is God. The tragedy is, for this wealthy man, is he would have been something better, something greater. Because I personally really believe fulfilling purpose would always be a better deal than succeeding at what isn't your true purpose. I was listening to a short sermon, 100 Days of Discipleship, by my pastor, and there was a day where he spoke about what purpose truly is. And I'm just going to be paraphrasing. Purpose is not exactly what you succeed at, it's what you were called to do, what you were born to do. So if you succeed at something else, if you become really great at something else, it might still not be your purpose. Okay? Eve wanted it. Eve wanted an apple. The wealthy man wanted it. He wanted to have his riches. And desire can be a dangerous thing. It can be shaped into a tool or twisted into a weapon. Okay, so a quick story about me. For me, my apple used to be control. I used to love control, and I think I was obsessed with it. When I'm not controlling other people, controlling myself, what I feel, what I think, what I do, I never really gave myself the chance to be human, because I liked to be in charge of every single little thing about me. I might even say I worshipped it. I wanted to be able to express emotions to a certain degree without going beyond and without reaching, without doing more and doing way too less. I wanted to be able to love someone without having to measure it or keep score, but I couldn't, because deep down, I loved control more than I desired true intimacy with someone. And I think because of that, I lost things, I lost people. Things I wouldn't have lost if I could just let go and let myself be. There is this saying, everyone has a price, and honestly, I think it's true. Every single one of us has something. You can't avoid it, because it's our human nature, intrinsically our human nature. But what we can do is we can decide what we want this price to be. If they say everyone has a price, then you can decide what you're going to make your price. So find your apple, figure out what it is. Because the most dangerous idols are not really loud, they're subtle. And they would mostly hide behind your logic, hide behind your personality, behind your preference. But really, if you look deep down, it's an idol. It's something that we need, something we fear or desire, that creates, that takes control out of our hands, because we think we do these things because we want to, but rather it's a force pushing us to do these things. Another thing is, you don't really have to always destroy the apple and stop having one. Sometimes you just need to replace it. Because that's what I did. For me, I learned to love someone more than I love anything else in this world. I didn't get rid of the apple. I just focused on replacing or making something else the apple. And I learned to love God above all. That was it for me. Now, every day I wake up, I choose to let Him be my apple. I choose to let Him be the one thing I crave, the one thing I cannot live without. Because I like to think when you've made God your apple, whenever you decide to take a bite out of this apple, you're never really going to be biting into poison. You're going to be biting into peace, into fulfillment, into purpose, into love. And I think that is better than anything I could ever have. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.